everybody, welcome to another episode of Community Tales, a podcast where we take a little trip around the community and see what's been going on for the past month. My name is Dave Walsh.
And I'm Grant Thompson, just along for the ride.
I always laugh. And so this month has been a little bit of a down month for me. I haven't been able to be really active. I think in the last episode that we did for Community Tales, we announced that we were changing the name to Community Tales, but I also said that the end of the year for teachers is always crazy, and it caught up with me, and I got really crazy. So I've been having trouble even posting episodes from our own show, let alone trying to keep track of what everybody else is doing. But you know what? The community goes on, and we will make sure we do right by our listeners. So that's good. So, Grant, how's it been going for you for the month of June? I really haven't had a chance to talk to you much.
Yeah, we haven't really had a chance to sit down, catch up, or anything lately. But no, it's been going fairly well. Had a few things on the go with various contributors in the community, as well as with our own little band of misfits.
Right, and I guess now is the time, maybe more than any, to talk about our little expansion that we did. Right, I had a whole plan figured out here about how we were gonna roll out the expansion of our own podcast, and then of course an announcement or more spoilers happened, and then we couldn't do it in that order. So, yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we have a new host on Card Talk. It's been, 2 years since we started up, or is it a year now?
It's been a year and a half. So we started January of 2018.
Yeah, so we've eventually added a third member to Card Talk, Ted, who is unfortunately unable to join us this afternoon, due to whatever he's got going on in his personal life. But it's been quite an interesting development for our little band, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that Ted provides a little bit more perspective than you and I can provide. You know, he sees things in a little bit different way, and I think that the benefit is going to be when we start getting into it, and the only people that are gonna benefit from it is the viewers, our fans. So. I think that it'll be great. Not I guess I don't mean it the only people. The people that are going to benefit from it is the viewers of the show. So,
and you've taken a little bit of a change in how you present now that Ted's joined our little band.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. We've only recorded a few shows, so I'm gonna try to be more of the facilitator than the opinion giver. But I don't know. I have my own opinion, so we'll see how well that works out. I don't know. I think of having Derek from the Gray Company and his role on the show. So as you get more hosts and more people talking, you need somebody to kind of keep the show moving along. So,
which generally I tended to do.
Yeah. Well, great.
Well, if you think about it, we'd get off topic, and it's like, well, I think we should go back to this.
Right. Yeah. Let's get back to talking about the card instead of all the history behind the card and stuff. So.
Yeah.
I did want to make mention that this is our monthly Patreon show, so we like to thank all our Patreons that are supporting us. If you like what we do and you want to support what we do in both Card Talk and our Community Tales episodes and anything else anything that you have, you just visit patreon.com /Card Talk 2018, and you can donate anything from a penny up to $1 million, and all of that goes back to make our show and the community even better than it already is. So that's,
if you want to donate $1 million, I will literally jump out of a window.
Yeah. Right. Grant will love, because he always has a project going. He's always got something going on. So any support that you could go would be great. And so thanks to all the generous Patreons that we have now, and we hope to get even more in the future. So thank you for that. So what are you playing lately? Like I said, this is our time to catch up, so we might as well just let the audience see what it looks like when we catch up here. So what scenarios are you playing?
Well, in all honesty, I'm just doing a bit of deck testing for one of the projects that me and Ted have been cooking up over the past little while. I'm trying to get 2 Hobbit decks running and working to start our own little campaign off.
What do you mean your own little campaign?
We're going through the Saga campaign, hopefully.
Hopefully. Have you started that, or are you about to start?
I am busy testing decks as we speak at the minute, so we should. The plan was to start today, to start recording, but due to time constraints and Ted having stuff to do and the deck's not being fully finished yet, we've decided to postpone for a little bit until they're sorted.
Okay, that's good. So this is you and Ted going through the Saga campaigns, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so is it going to be a Nightmare Saga campaign or just a regular play?
Just a regular play until I've completed the actual campaign, and then I'll think about if I can stomach the Nightmare.
You know, it's really funny. So our first little thing about what's going on in the community is I think that Chad from Cardboard of the Rings has started a Nightmare campaign play with one of the listeners or one of his buddies there.
Yeah, Chad and George started their campaign, and they've just beat Shadow in the Past Nightmare.
Right.
With a couple of decent decks. Chad was running Noldor, and so was Joe, I believe. They were both running a variation on the theme.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance. I've been, like I said, I've been crazy, so I haven't had a chance to keep up with what has been going on for the past couple of weeks. But I saw it hit, and it was something that I know that I wanted to take a look at and see what was going on with it. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what Chad, by the way, is also just an amazing player. He's fun to listen to, and he really knows how to play the game really well. So I'm sure that will be a great series of, well, probably 20 videos, right?
Yeah.
Is there Nightmare versions of the print on demand scenarios?
No.
So it'll probably still be 20, but they're probably not going to do, right? They'll probably do just the regular. I don't know. Who knows? Ask them, find out. Or Chad, if you're listening, if you want to help us out, how are you going to do the print on demands? How are you going to do the Old Forest?
They'll probably just play through them, as the print on demands are generally tough as they are.
Right.
If you look at Battle of Lake Town or Siege of Numenor, they're quite difficult campaign, like quite difficult quests in their own right. Can you imagine trying to do them Nightmare?
Well, I think that the Old Forest and Fog on the Barrow Downs are, for print on demands, are fairly straightforward. I don't think that they're necessarily have upped the difficalty. Because,
no, I think they try to keep it in line with the beginning of the Saga campaign.
Right. So I think that, I don't think that we're talking Nightmare or Battle of Lake Town sort of difficult. I think they're just talking. But anyways, that's all beside the point. So, so good luck to you and Ted, and also good luck to Chad and Joe, right? I think his name is Joe.
Yeah.
Yep, that are running that. So that'll be interesting to see those things.
The Warden of Arnor also completed the Dream Chaser cycle and Siege of Numenor progression series style.
Oh, thank goodness. Whew.
And he's got his blog article up there as well. So that was quite an interesting read.
Yeah, he's the one that has really taken the progression series and really have made it. Like, there's been a lot of progression series, and actually the famous progression series with Mitch and Matthew that but they stopped halfway through or partially through. They didn't do all of them, and so the Warden of Arnor keeps putting out the videos and keeps doing these progression style videos. So it's great. It's great for people who are looking for progression to have somebody that has progressed through the whole card pool as it's been
Yeah,
released. I think he's doing a great job with that.
yeah. Warden of Arno's done a fantastic job of what was originally started by Mitch and Matthew. They the first stopped just after the Mogul Veil was released, I believe, and then they started up again under the Hive Tyrant, and then stopped after the Long Dark, I think it was.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and in the Warden, he started from the beginning and is continually going here. He's done like
yeah, and
59 or 60 of these things, and
he's also doing the Nightmare versions progression series style as well. And that's not progression from like the core set. He's not taking just core set cards and trying to deal with the Nightmare versions of the Quest progression series style. He's actually looking at when the Nightmare was released and what
and then using, that's what I was going to say, is like using all the cards that were released up to the point when the Nightmare pack was released.
Yes.
Right. So that makes, I mean, Attack on Dol Guldur is hard enough with just the core cards. So to think of doing that Nightmare with just the core cards. Yeah, Escape, not Attack. Well, Attack is hard also, but Escape from Dol Guldur is hard enough, with just the core cards, and then to think of doing Nightmare. So that's awesome.
And the White Tower also has finished the experimental deck build.
Oh my god, those experimental, that campaign, Lorfindel Walks to Mordor, that campaign that he did, it's hysterical on so many different levels.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's just so funny to think about it.
I finished watching that the other day, and when me and Sam have been messaging to get things sorted for a few collaborations we've got in talks with, it's like, really? You did that?
Right.
And it's just been a laugh watching Exfelion and Sam go through and beat the campaign.
Yeah. And I mean, that Lorfindel thing, the one that I thought was the best was it the Black Gate, where he didn't have to put any enemies under the Black Gate. Like, I thought it was just like he was able to nuke all the Mumax with Lorfindel. Like, it was just crazy to look at. It was so fun, and it was funny. And,
intimidation straight shot's a thing,
Yeah, right. As long as you can reduce their defense down to enough, it will work itself out. So,
the thing I found funny was that their loss in Kirathungal, where he was like, "I'll just take this attack undefended. Ooh, I don't have enough hit points."
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah.
But taking an attack from like any enemy undefended without fear, and it's like you've just taken a great character and put him in the Uber League.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
But he's finished up his experimental deck tests and the campaign, and there's blog posts up for the Wilderlands United on how to make it a two-player. How you could go about making a two-player deck if you so wanted.
Yeah. I mean, he puts out, Samuel at the White Tower, Onidson, he puts out so much stuff, and it's all so good. And he's so thoughtful about what he does. It's good stuff.
Yeah. And I think that leads on to the collaborations we've got in the works with Samuel.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know much about it. So you can, I know that, I don't even, but you have taken a lead on really working with Samuel, I guess most of the life of our own podcast. You've always been kind of a huge Sam fan. So tell us what you and Samuel have been working on.
Well, Sam posed a question on the Facebook group about reworking some of the older cards, likes of the core set classics, that weren't seeing much light of day due to the fact that either they were just not very, like Brock Iron Fist, it wasn't really used very much, or some of the cards that were maybe overpowered when you look at the cards that are coming out now, like Steward of Gondor. So what me and Samuel have been doing is we've been talking to each other and then going out and talking and putting things out on the Facebook group and in Discord about some of the changes that we wanted to make with some of these cards to make them more playable or more viable. And then we are hoping to sit down and discuss why we've made these changes from the original and put it out in video format as well as blog format. I believe Samuel's deciding to do as well.
Yeah, so I know that he he was asking me about coming on some of the shows and talking and doing like card talk style shows about the cards, which I think is an amazing idea. Like, so you've reinvented and rethought how old cards work in the new with the new card pool, and so then to sit and talk about it for some time, I think that's a great idea. So I love it.
Yeah, we're not talking about them being changed in the actual game to make them, because some people seem to get a little bit, have strong opinions that the cards don't need to be changed. They were designed like that for a reason.
Right, of course.
We're not saying that these are what should happen with these cards. We're just saying these are some of the changes we would have liked if such changes were to come about.
Well, it's like Steward of Gondor. You guys have taken Steward of Gondor, and when the card game was young, Steward of Gondor you kind of needed for one sort of thing. But now that the game has matured and there's a lot of other ways to do Steward of Gondor sorts of things, you re-envision what Steward of Gondor is and what it would do based on the current card pool. And there's no way that you could have imagined a version of Steward of Gondor in the current card pool until we got to this particular point. So I really appreciate that. Like, hey, what are some things that could happen? It's not like you're trying to trash Steward of Gondor. You're just trying to do something with it that makes a little more sense based on the current card pool. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Steward of Gondor and Brock Iron Fist were two of the biggest ones in the leadership sphere, which we'll be recording soon. Were the biggest challenges that we had, that we got a lot of feedback from the community about. Steward of Gondor, we came up with two versions of Steward of Gondor, and it was a hard choice between for what it should do and which card we've taken forward, which we'll get to once we've recorded the show.
Right.
But some of them have taken quite hard to think about when you're like, well, how would I go about making it either useful or more, like, giving it a better ability?
Or, make it reflect the current card pool, right? Yeah, like, that's what you want it to do.
And when you actually sit down and discuss it, it's like, well, hang on a minute, how would I go about doing that? And I think for the most part, we've kept in line with what the game is being designed to do.
Right. For the cards that I've seen, and I haven't seen everything, but for the cards that I have seen, it's not like you're taking Brock Iron Fist and then blanking out his stats and coming out with new stats and changing his ability. You're trying to stay true to what the card is meant to do, but changing it for what the current card pool can throw at you. And I think that that's a valiant project.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think it's an uphill struggle because of the fact that some of these cards have been ingrained in people's minds for so long, likes of Steward of Gondor, and people may be opposed to the change. But these are changes what we would give for if the cards were going to be re-released. This is what we'd probably like to see.
Yeah, and it's not like you're the game creator and you're going to make this happen. It's just some opinions as you're throwing them around, and I think that the idea is good. It's always good to revisit some of these older cards and see, how they work and how they changed based on the card pool. I mean, that's what happens when you have a game that's 8 years old, is that there's value in things and less value in other things. So
yeah, I mean, don't get us wrong, these are just some of the changes we're discussing. These aren't what's actually going to happen to the card. We are just having a conversation.
Right. It's just something else to talk about the game. So
exactly.
And you guys are posting all that stuff in both the Facebook group, I think, and the Discord server. Is that true?
Yes. Samuel's taking ahead in the Discord server and also on the Facebook group as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've posted the leadership cards on our Facebook group.
Right.
But I haven't put the tactics versions up there just yet. But you can find them all on the LOTR Facebook group.
Right. Yeah, and that, not to switch gears or anything, but that LOTR Facebook group keeps growing and growing. It's almost to 2,700 members. I think at the beginning of the year, weren't we talking about it hitting 2,000 members or 2,500 members? I don't know.
Like that. We are 6 members short of hitting 2,700.
I know. We have a huge number of members on there, and I if this is your first exposure, if watching our podcast is the first exposure to Lord of the Rings and in the community, let me just tell you that you need to get onto the Facebook group. Even if you don't have a Facebook account, create one and just get onto the Facebook group so that you can be part of the conversations that happen there, because those Facebook conversations really help the game move forward. And if you have questions, always go there. The second place to always go to is the Discord server. Cardboard of the Rings hosts a Discord server about everything that there is to do with the game. So you can go to discord.me/COTR, and it's an open invite to anybody to join that server. I don't know exactly how many people are on there, but everyone that I know of is on there. And then the other place you can find a lot of help is in the Reddit channel. And all three of these places provide a different, what do I want to say, like a different feel for helping the game. I think Facebook is open, like a lot of people are part of the Facebook group, and it's a little more relaxed and laid back. Reddit definitely has distinct conversations and posts, and I have a question here or something comes, and then that gets settled and it's done. And then the Discord server is like ongoing conversations about the game. So every one of those social media places has a distinct feel. There's also a hashtag LOTR LCG that is used on Twitter by a bunch of people. But Twitter in and of itself doesn't really lend itself to be a huge community. It's more of a sharing place. Although, again, Cardboard of the Rings does have a pretty active following, almost 800 people. So there is some discussion that goes on there. But I find that Twitter is a good way to share more than it is a good way to discuss.
Yeah, agreed. On that one.
Right. So, and I think that's one reason why we, or at least I haven't thought of doing a Card Talk Twitter account, is it's just not, I want to discuss the cards. I don't necessarily just want to post. So we'll go.
I mean, maybe if we wanted to get it out there, we could post it on the Twitter feed. But like when we've got a new episode, we'll just send it out on Twitter, let everybody know. But in all honesty, we do that on Facebook anyway, and most people's phones these days, if they have Facebook, are connected to the phone.
Right.
So
right. So Right. So I guess that brings us to Cardboard of the Rings. So Cardboard of the Rings is it used to be a bi-weekly podcast, but now it's more like every 3 weeks they put out an episode about the game. And I'm not going to, they had a couple of really good episodes in, what month did we just get through? June. Helps if I get out. But the big news for Cardboard of the Rings is they are celebrating episode 150 on July 2nd. So depending on when I edit this and when it comes up, it's either it will just be happening or it will just have happened. But they've planned a huge extravaganza. The original host of Cardboard, one of the original hosts, Brandon, the creator of Cardboard of the Rings, is going to come on the show, and they have some fun they're going to have with him, and they're going to give away some of the new deluxe expansions, and I think they're also giving away some of the APs. They're going to do the whole cycle to one of the listeners, so that's going to be cool. So that's July 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern. I forget daylight or standard time. 8 p.m. Eastern time. So that'll be fun, and they always do good work. They're the original podcast of the game, so we have to give props to them. So and then I actually listened to Three's Company again because they put out another episode. Actually, they put out their third episode last month, and I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but I did get a chance to listen to it this month, and it was great. And I was very impressed. And it was really funny because I didn't know who OK Targ was. And then Joseph posted on something. He's like, well, if you would have listened to my episode, you would have known who OK Targ was. And I was like, oh, yeah. I thought he was just joking around. And then lo and behold, they had a guest on their show whose username was OK Targ. And I was like, oh, so you weren't just joking around. But chock full of really good stuff. I love that podcast too. It's another long form podcast for the community. So that's really good. I can't wait for episode 4. It's probably going to come out in the next 2 days. So then it's going to look like I didn't know there was an episode 4 that's come out. So, but then there's the other big stuff, which is, I think, Vision of the Palantir is probably the next. What's been going on with Vision of the Palantir?
Well, they've put out quite a few decent blogs lately. The splash article wrote by Duran's father himself, which was a very interesting read, as well as the player card review on the Hills of Emon Wheel, done by Silblade 222. And you said you found interesting article on
Sneak Attack Hobbit here just happened. So, okay, wave at everybody. Sneak Attack Hobbit. Sorry. Okay, go ahead. Hills of Emon Wheel.
Yeah, by Silblade 222.
Which is funny because I think that's Duran's father's favorite. We joke around because he says it's like Hills of Emon Wheel is awesome, and that's like nobody's favorite AP or scenario to play.
They did. And you said you found something on the Vision of the Palantir?
Oh yeah, well because he's been so busy, he is doing this the There and Back Again. He gave there's a guy, I wish I knew who was writing this. Let me see if I can call it up real quick, but it's Dragon EYMRU, right? And so he's going through and he's playing all of the scenarios kind of as and writing about it as a series on his site. So the content, while has been slowing down from Duran's father, but as he's continually pushing out content by these guest writers that are doing a really great job kind of holding down the fort. But I say that, but Dan is still doing all sorts of crazy things for his website. He does his monthly stuff, and he's still putting out scenario analysis. Like, he's still doing a bunch. It's he's just doing even more because he has a couple of people writing series for him. So it's good to have that available. Oh, so what else has been going on in the community?
The Master of Laws is put out the quest profile for Beneath the Sands. That's article number 81, I believe it is.
Okay, which is
Uh,
the Herodrum cycle, right?
yes, it is. So that's all for the blogs that I've got. Have you got anything more?
I don't. Like I said, I've been out of touch here. So I think that the main thing that I want to make sure our listeners know about is the projects that you and Ted and you and Samuel have been working on, and then I've been undergoing my own project, kind of independent from you guys. Is I wanted to put out like an introductory how to play video, because I find that a lot of the videos out there that show people how to play start with some sort of assumption that people know anything about games. And while that's probably true, I think that this game is unique and complex enough that it's good to start with kind of no knowledge of the game. So I bought a core set, I cracked it open, I record me opening it up, me going through the cards a little bit, and then I actually played the Passage Through Mirkwood with the leadership, the 30 card leadership deck, kind of going step by step through each phase, talking to people about how attacks work, how events work, how to set your threat at the very beginning, the need for using tokens, and like everything that kind of gets, I feel like, gets pushed under the rug here. So that's going to be a big editing. I don't know why I give myself all these editing things, but I plan on editing it out, and hopefully it will hit sometime this summer. But I did get the first playthrough done, so that's good. So that's what I've been doing. So I haven't been just slacking off here. I wish I could have, but.
So are you doing a progression series style, or are you going to?
No, I just wanted to do a how-to is really what I wanted to do. So I was going to do one for each of the core set decks through Passage Through Mirkwood. That way, if somebody cracks open the box and they're playing Passage Through Mirkwood, they know how to set it up, and they can see how the cards get played from the very beginning, regardless of which deck they play. So that's the hope, and then that's where I'm gonna stop there. I don't want to. There's enough progression series stuff out there that I don't feel a need to do it, and progression series is not really my what I am drawn to play. So that's why I let the masters all do that, like you and of course the Warden of Arnor, and Mitch and Matthew's series still holds true over 5 years ago when they did it.
Yeah, when they first did it, that's what was one of the things that got me into the game, was watching how they played.
Right.
And 5 years on, if I'm going back to do one of the quests, and it's like what they've covered, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, what's the I'll just quickly pull it up, and I'll just, all right, okay, that's that one, right? Okay, not a problem.
Right. And so one of the things that I learned by doing this, and not that it's horrible, it's just that I'm trying to play the game as if I just opened up the box. So I'm not using any of my aftermarket counters or my dice or playmats or sleeves or anything like that. So it's weird to play kind of in the raw now that I'm used to playing, with sleeve cards and everything like that. But that's okay. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun exercise to kind of go back to the very beginning.
So have you got anything planned for the future after you've finished this, or?
Not specifically, because I feel like to edit this the way that I want to, with like references to rules and rules pages, that this is going to take some time to get out. So I don't want to. This has been my big thought process for the past 2 months. I've been trying to figure out how this was going to work. So so I don't have anything on the horizon other than this.
All right, well, I guess that's everything to talk about for this month.
Okay, everybody. Well, that's been.
I will just say, if we've missed anything, it's not because we don't appreciate the content you've put out. It's just that we haven't either seen it or had chance to do it for us.
Right. Last month, I ended the show by giving them Cardboard of the Rings email address. Remember, I said, if you want us to look over something, feel free. We'll give you a free plug, whatever. And then I said, email us at cardboardoftherings.com. So I won't make that same mistake, but I will say that, let us know what you're doing, because we're just as interested, and we're players in the community, and we want to know what people are. I love watching YouTube videos about stuff, and I also enjoy reading blogs, and I just soak in all the information about the game. And Grant is the same way too. He really soaks in all that information. So if you have something that you're doing, let us know. Send us an email, cardtalk2018@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to look at it, give you a little plug on the show, and life will be good.
If you don't want to email us, you can also get us on the Facebook group, Card Talk 2018 on Facebook. Comment down below, or even message us directly.
Right. Send us a message over Facebook Messenger, or whatever. Whatever you need us to do. So
I think that's all from me.
So Grant is done, and I think I am done too. So everybody have a good night and enjoy your playing Lord of the Rings. Have a good day. And if you're interested in finding this or any of our back episodes of Card Talk, feel free to search YouTube, where you can find our flagship video episodes with the username Card Talk 2018. Or you can search the RSS feed, cardtalk2018.libsyn.org, for our extended audio versions of our podcast. Or you can find us on Facebook at Card Talk 2018. And if you have any questions for Grant or myself, or for both of us, feel free to email us at cardtalk2018@gmail.com.